two cultures, one ocean, the same door on both sides. Newgrange, County Meath, Ireland. A passage tomb so old it predates the pyramids at Giza by 5 centuries. The entrance, a single massive stone, lying flat across the mouth of the passage, is covered in spirals. It was first fully documented in 1882. That documentation listed 3 distinct spiral clusters and noted something else: a proportional ratio between the carved zones and the stone's total width. That ratio was not discussed further in the report. It does not appear in the standard site descriptions published between 1967 and 2001. The current visitor placard does not mention it. That's already unusual. What's more unusual is this: the same spatial logic, the same grammar of blocked threshold, carved surface, aligned passage, reappears in structures on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Not descended from Ireland, not connected to Ireland in the published literature. Simply, built the same way. Tonight, we're going to look at what those structures share, what the surveys found, what some of those surveys didn't finish, and why the published record on the parallels is thinner than the unpublished one. No verdict. Just the door, and what keeps appearing on the other side of it. The mainstream position on Newgrange is coherent and, on its own terms, well supported. Built around 3200 BCE by Neolithic farming communities, passage astronomically aligned to the winter solstice sunrise, verified, measured, reproducible. The spiral motifs, part of a broader Western European megalithic decorative tradition. The entrance stone, a threshold marker, likely ritual in function. That framework holds, until you go looking at the toolmark analysis. The entrance stone was surveyed in detail in 1974 by the Office of Public Works. That survey produced 2 sets of groove depth readings from different sections of the stone. The readings do not agree. Shallower grooves cluster in the lower third. Deeper grooves cluster at the top. The 1974 report notes the discrepancy in a footnote. It does not propose an explanation. The raw measurement data was submitted to the OPW archive. It has not been cited in any subsequent published analysis of the stone's manufacture. The consensus assumes a uniform tool, a uniform technique. The 2 measurement sets in the same report say otherwise, and the report itself does not try to reconcile them. Set the tool marks aside and look at the geometry. The entrance stone at Newgrange is not centered on the passage mouth. It sits offset, displaced slightly to the right when facing the entrance. That offset was noted in the 1882 survey. It was measured again in 1962 as part of a structural assessment. The 1962 assessment proposed the offset was intentional, that it created a specific sightline relationship between the carved face and the passage interior at solstice sunrise. A follow-up study was proposed to test that relationship with photographic documentation over multiple solstice cycles. The proposal appears in the 1963 project notes. There is no published study that completed it. The project notes are held in the National Museum of Ireland. The photographic study, if it was conducted, did not produce a publication that entered the academic literature. What exists is the proposal, the rationale, and then silence. That's one incomplete study at one site. On its own, unusual. What happens next is not one site. It's the same silence, in a different country, on a different stone. And the 2 silences have never been put in the same room. In 1885, a surveyor named George Coffey filed a report in the Journal of the Royal Society of Antiquaries of Ireland. He noted something specific about the entrance stone's relationship to the curbstone directly opposite it, at the rear of the mound. He called it a corresponding logic, a structural echo between the 2 stones, suggesting the mound's designers had treated both thresholds as a unified system, not as independent elements. Coffey returned to Newgrange repeatedly over the following decade. His 1912 volume became the standard early reference on the site. That volume does not contain the corresponding logic observation. It is not in the 1912 text. It is not cited in the major mid-century studies. It is in the 1885 article, digitized, publicly available, and unmentioned for 140 years. That matters, because a bilateral threshold system at Newgrange is not a modern interpretation. It's a 140-year-old observation that didn't make it into the canon. and it's the exact structural feature that shows up independently on the other side of the Atlantic. 3 sites, 3 continents, 3 separate bodies of academic literature that do not speak to each other. Newgrange, County Meath, Ireland, passage tomb, carved entrance threshold, offset stone, solstice alignment, bilateral curbstone relationship, documented from 1882. Monte do Teiro, Évora district, Portugal, passage grave complex, carved entrance orthostat with concentric arc motifs, threshold stone displaced to the right when facing inward, the same directional offset as Newgrange, dated to approximately 3,500 to 3,800 BCE. Poverty Point, Louisiana. Not a passage tomb, an earthwork complex, dated to approximately 1,700 to 1,100 BCE. A feature at the Western Ridge, surveyed in 1953, 1981, and 2004. All 3 surveys use the same language: a threshold zone, a marker stone with incised geometry, a specific offset from the primary axis. The 1953 survey connects this feature to European megalithic parallels. The 1981 survey does not mention the 1953 observation. The 2004 survey does not mention either. The same feature. 3 surveys, 3 decades apart. None of them citing each other on the one point where all 3 agree. That is not a gap in one report. That is a pattern of gaps. And patterns don't happen by accident. In 2009, a comparative architectural study was initiated between University College Dublin and the Universidad de Sevilla. The aim? To examine proportional relationships between Atlantic-facing megalithic threshold structures, Ireland to the Canary Islands, with American Atlantic coast earthworks included as a secondary dataset. The project produced a preliminary findings document in 2011. That document identified 17 structural variables shared across a subset of the sites examined. It proposed a second phase of fieldwork to test 3 of those variables with on-site measurement. The second phase was not completed. The 2011 document is listed in the UCD Department of Archaeology's internal project catalog. It has not been published in a peer-reviewed journal. It has not been cited in subsequent comparative megalithic studies. The Sevilla co-author published a separate paper in 2013 on Iberian passage graves. That paper does not reference the 2009 joint study. 17 variables. 17 points where structures built by people who never met, separated by an ocean and 15 centuries, made the same architectural choice. No shared language, no contact in the record, no reason, by any conventional account, to arrive at the same solution. 2 cultures. 1 ocean, the same door on both sides. So why did they?